The millionaire's wife tried to kill the millionaire, but she forgot one thing. He was the man who found her with nothing, raised her into a wife, gave her his name, his wealth, and his world, while she was secretly betraying him with his own driver and planning to take everything he owned and leave him erased from his own life. Before the story continues, if you enjoy deep, powerful stories like this, don't forget to like this video. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications so you never miss the next episode, and tell us where you're watching from by dropping your country's flag emoji in the comments. The beginning of the lie. The millionaire's wife tried to kill the millionaire, but she forgot one thing. She was not dealing with a careless man. Daniel Adebayo built his life on patience, silence, and watching before acting. Long before money came, before the houses and the contracts, Daniel learned how to survive by paying attention. That skill was the same reason he noticed Nola the day he met her, standing behind a small counter in a struggling cafe, wiping tables that never stayed clean. She was quiet, not loud, not begging for attention, just present in a way that felt honest. She had nothing then, no savings, no connections, no plan beyond tomorrow. Daniel noticed how she listened when he spoke, how she asked about his work like it mattered, how she smiled without asking for anything in return. He kept coming back, not because of the coffee, but because she made the world slow down for him. When he finally asked her out, she said yes with surprise in her eyes, like she didn't believe good things could happen to her. Daniel didn't rescue her the way people like to tell stories. He didn't sweep in loudly. He helped her quietly. He paid for classes she wanted but couldn't afford. He encouraged her to read, to speak, to sit at tables she once avoided. He never reminded her where she came from. He married her because he trusted her. He made her his wife because he believed love should grow together, not tower over someone. When wealth came in full, it came fast. Deals closed, companies grew. Their home sat on a hill, calm and guarded, with wide windows and long mornings. Daniel's routine never changed. Early workouts, careful meals, long hours, the same driver every day. Kola, a man Daniel trusted without thinking twice. Kola drove him through traffic, through storms, through years. He knew routes, habits, schedules. He was invisible in the way trusted people often are. Nola learned the world of wealth from the inside. Charity events, quiet meetings, smiles that hid sharp minds. At first, she was grateful. She would call her old friends and speak with wonder about the life she was living. But gratitude has a strange enemy: comfort. Over time, comfort grew into expectation. Expectation grew into impatience. Nola started to feel small again, not because Daniel made her small, but because she stood next to something steady while she felt unsure inside. Daniel was calm. Daniel was respected. Daniel was always 10 steps ahead. People praised her luck, not her growth, and that praise slowly poisoned her pride. Kola noticed the change. He noticed the sighs after events, the silence on long drives, the way she stared out the window like she wanted to be somewhere else. He listened when she complained about feeling invisible. He nodded when she said she deserved more control. He never corrected her. He never reminded her who paid the bills. He made her feel powerful simply by agreeing. Conversations stayed harmless at first, talks about traffic, about schedules, about how lonely big houses can feel. Daniel traveled often that year. New cities, new deals. Nola stayed back, managing the home, signing routine papers, playing the role of the perfect wife. With Daniel gone, Kola became closer. He was always there, always available, always listening. Words turned into ideas, ideas turned into plans that felt exciting, dangerous, and wrong. Kola spoke about how assets worked, about how names on papers mattered, about how timing could change everything. Nola listened more than she spoke. She imagined a life where she decided everything, where she didn't wait for Daniel's approval or calm explanations. She told herself she deserved it. She told herself Daniel would be fine. The plan didn't come suddenly. It grew, slowly, quietly, like a shadow stretching at sunset. The night it nearly succeeded was ordinary. Rain fell softly. Daniel came home earlier than planned, tired but smiling, holding a small gift he had bought during his trip. He wanted to surprise her. Nola greeted him warmly, too warmly. She made tea the way she always did, hands steady, face calm. Daniel sat across from her, listening to the rain. He took a sip and paused. Something was wrong, not obvious, just wrong. Years of discipline saved his life. He didn't accuse her. He didn't react. He smiled, set the cup down, and said he needed rest. He went upstairs, locked the door, and made a call. That call changed everything. Daniel slept lightly that night. Cameras watched, records saved. By morning, he knew enough to stop trusting and start preparing. Nola believed she was close to freedom. She believed Daniel was tired, distracted, weak. She forgot the man she married, built his life by seeing what others missed. And while she dreamed of taking everything, Daniel began building the truth that would bring it all crashing down. The quiet trap. Daniel did not rush revenge because he knew speed creates mistakes. Instead, he returned to routine, the same calm mornings, the same measured steps, the same gentle voice Nola had grown used to. To her, it looked like nothing had changed. To him, everything had. He moved like a man rebuilding a house while the lights were still on. He began by listening more than speaking. He watched how Nola spoke about money now, how she asked questions she never asked before, how she suggested changes that always leaned toward control. He nodded, agreed, and made her believe she was finally being seen. That belief made her careless. Daniel met with his lawyer under the cover of normal business reviews. No alarms, no sudden moves, just quiet preparation. Accounts were examined, properties were listed, access points were traced. Each document Nola had touched was reviewed slowly, patiently. Daniel's security team replayed weeks of footage, focusing not on dramatic moments but on habits. Kohler's routes, his stops, his phone use, his timing. Patterns tell more truth than confessions ever will. Kohler, meanwhile, felt powerful. He had never sat so close to wealth before. Nola spoke to him as an equal now, sometimes even as a leader. She talked about a future where they would make decisions together, where Daniel would be a memory, not a presence. Kohler believed her because belief is easy when it feeds hunger. He began to think ahead, to imagine himself respected, feared, rich. He forgot that drivers are trusted because they are unseen, and the moment they want to be seen, they expose themselves. Daniel gave Kohler more responsibility, not less. Sensitive errands, special pickups, fake urgency. Every task was designed to reveal intention. Kohler took the bait each time, confident that he was already winning. Nola grew bolder. She asked Daniel about transferring assets for safety. She spoke about simplifying structures. Daniel smiled and praised her intelligence. He let her feel proud. He let her feel in control. At night, Daniel sat alone in his study, staring at old photos. Not because he missed the past, but because he wanted to understand where things broke. He realized betrayal rarely looks like hate. It looks like comfort replacing respect. The moment arrived without drama. No shouting, no police at the gate. Just a meeting. Daniel invited Nola to the study on a quiet afternoon. Sunlight poured through the windows, touching the same walls where they once planned their future. He asked her to sit. She smiled, relaxed, confident. He placed a folder on the table and slid it toward her. Inside were timelines, messages, routes, and documents. Clear, simple, final. Nola's smile faded, then vanished. She tried to speak, but Daniel raised a hand gently. He told her he knew about the tea. He told her he knew about the plans. He told her he knew about Kohler. His voice never rose. That scared her more than anger would have. She cried, then denied, then blamed loneliness, then blamed influence. Daniel listened once, not because he needed explanation, but because endings deserved to be heard. When she finished, he stood and said, "Trust is not broken in one moment, it is traded away piece by piece." Kohler was taken later that day, quietly, without noise. Authorities had everything they needed. No drama, no headlines yet. Just consequences unfolding at their own pace. Nola moved out within days. The house felt lighter, like it had been holding its breath. Daniel slept better than he had in months. He did not celebrate. He did not feel victorious. He felt awake. The lie had been removed, and clarity had taken its place. And for the first time in a long while, Daniel could see the road ahead without shadows, pretending to be loyalty. What remained after the fall, the city whispered for a while, as cities always do, but Daniel never fed the noise. He finished everything quietly, the separation, the legal work, the closing of doors that no longer led anywhere good. He did not strip Nola of dignity, even though she had tried to strip him of life. He gave her enough to start over and nothing that would let her control another person again. That balance mattered to him. The house on the hill changed. Fewer voices, more peace. Daniel returned to his routines, not as a shield, but as a reminder of who he was before confusion entered his home. Work felt cleaner, decisions felt sharper. He invested more time in people who built rather than took. Nola moved into a smaller world where silence was louder. Without drivers, schedules, or borrowed power, she faced herself. Some nights she blamed Daniel. Other nights she saw the truth and turned away from it. Growth does not come to everyone. Cola faded from her story completely, reduced to a lesson she never wanted to learn. Months passed, the foundation Daniel announced went forward under strict leadership, serving people who truly needed help. Daniel learned that love without boundaries invites destruction, and that saving someone does not mean surrendering your future. He never spoke badly of Nola in public. He did not need to. Time spoke clearly. The story ended without revenge, without spectacle, without blood. It ended with truth standing in the open and a man who chose clarity over bitterness. And sometimes that is the strongest ending of all. And that's the end of today's story. If this touched you, moved you, or made you think, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And remember, every choice we make writes the next chapter of our lives. Until next time, stay safe, stay thoughtful,